Good morning, everybody. I wanted to go over how to do the cost basis on your covered strangles. If you're doing any of these starting tomorrow, or if you got in before I did with different premiums, make sure you're able to calculate this. So, first thing is you could go to my spreadsheet and then do File, make a copy, and then add in your own info if you'd like. Or you can write it on your own way. I've even done this with paper and pencil sometimes, so it gives that brain eye connection, hand, whatever. Yeah, the hand eye coordination. There we go. So you might be able to realize what's happening more. Anyway, to figure out the cost basis of your positions, take your share price. So I'll do SLV, and that's the easiest one, and then I'll get to ones that are a little trickier. Take your share price that you bought your shares at, subtract the premium from the covered call, subtract the premium from the cash secured put. So for silver, I had 27.99. I'm going to subtract the $40 in premium on the covered call, so minus 0.4, and then subtract the premium from the cash secured put, 0.23, and then I get 27.36. That is what I put over here for the cost basis. So what this means is if you want to make it so that it's a long-term kind of investment and you don't want to lose money, you don't want to be selling a covered call below the 27.36. So I wouldn't want to necessarily sell a 27 call here, because if it goes above 27, I could theoretically lose a little bit of money on it. So I'm going to look to try to sell a 28 call for SLV, just so that if it happens to go up to 28, I get a little bit of capital gain on it. Another one, a little bit trickier for Beto. Did 100 shares at 24.8. 24.8. I took in $70 on the covered call, so minus 0.7. Took in $50 on the put, minus 0.5. And we're at 23.6. However, Beto did pay a dividend, and I did collect the dividend 0.996. Since I collected the dividend, you need to be able to subtract that as well for your cost basis. Minus 0.996. And we're at 22.60. That's the cost basis that's right here. It's harder to see that, darker. That means on my next covered call, I want to make sure that I'm above 22.6, like 23, 24. Sometimes the premium may not be worth it, but you could consider going a few months out instead of 1 month out. If you're already doing pretty good, you do weeklies. I'm just showing what I do as learning experiences, and you guys want to tweak to your own as well over time. SAUN, I didn't close that yet, but just to figure out the cost basis, I didn't actually buy shares yet. If I did get a sign on, say, the 10, I would do 10 minus the 0.35 I sold. And let's say it's still above 9, so it's like 9.8 or something. Subtract 0.2 from it as well, from the cash secured put at 9 strike. And I get 9.45. That'd be my cost basis if I got a sign on the 10. Okay? Let's say I don't get assigned at all, and then I do another one of these, like next month or so. And then let's say I do the same strikes, I get some premium. I could do this 9.45, and just to make it a little easier, let's say I sell the same 10 and 9 strike. If I get a sign on the 10, I'm just making up data here. So 10 and 9 here. Let's say I got, I don't know, 0.4 and 0.3. Let's say on the second one, I got assigned at the 10, but not the 9. You're going to still take your 9.45 because you got these premiums from the previous trade. I'm going to subtract the 0.4 and the 0.3. cost basis will be 8.75. Okay, that's if I only got a sign on the 10. So use the previous premiums that you collected for the cost basis as well. Now this didn't happen yet, but let's say it tanks completely and it goes down to like 8. In that case, I'd be a sign on both the 10 and the 9. This is where the calculation gets a little tricky. You want to take the average of the two strike prices. So I got 10 plus the 9. And then it's the same. Let's say I did one contract of each, which I did. I don't know if the order of operations will mess up here. It'll be 19 divided by 2. It's off. So you have to do 19 divided by 2. You get 9.5. That's the average of the 10 and the 9. To figure out the cost basis, though, you got to take the premiums of these and average them as well. You can't just take 9.5, subtract 3.5, subtract 0.2. You got to do 3.5, 0.35, plus 0.2. Divide that by 2 because there's 200 shares. You're going to reduce your cost basis by 0.275. So it'll be 9.5 minus 0.275. Actual cost basis will be 9.23 or so. So again, make sure you average them out if you happen to get a sign on both. If there's a position, let's say silver, let's say I got assigned on this, even though I didn't, just to do the math here. I bought 100 shares at 24.8. I would have got assigned 100 shares on 21. Divide that by 2 to get the average. 22.9 is the average cost of shares. But then subtract the premiums, divide by 2. 0.7.5 is 1.2, divided by 2 is 0.6. Subtract 0.6 from it. Actual cost base would be 22.3 off 200 shares, not 100. So hopefully this makes sense. Definitely track this stuff out. I'll see a lot of members that might take trades and then they don't realize what their cost basis is, and then they might be entering a new position, selling a covered call way below their cost basis. Then they get a sign on that, and then they ended up with a loss in the end. Don't just go nilly-willy. Keep track, take good data on your trades. It's very important to do. There could be some times where I might personally sell a covered call below the cost basis if it drops a lot and I want to try to get out with a minimal loss, or if I think the covered call strike is still relatively safe and won't get assigned because I might take in more premium by selling a little bit below the cost basis instead of above. Those situations will happen at one point. I don't know when yet. Not yet, though. So just be aware of that, okay? Have a good rest of the Sunday whenever you're watching this, and happy holidays, Merry Christmas, Hanukkah, all that good stuff. I'll see you guys in the next one.